Okay, so let's try to unpack this. There's this strange contradiction happening in AI right now.
A really strange one.
On one hand, you've got the biggest rivals. We're talking OpenAI, Anthropic, block all making peace to standardize their future.
Right. Building the serious infrastructure. And then at the same time, you have Sam Altman, their leader, on late night TV. And he's admitting he uses his, genius level AI to figure out what his baby's poop means.
It's high stakes standardization meeting this deeply mundane, very human need.
Exactly.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Our mission, as always, is to take that whole complex stack of information and find the clear currents, signals guiding the industry.
And today, those currents are pulling in two totally opposite directions. Consolidation on one side.
And humanization on the other.
We're looking at a field that's maturing incredibly fast, but maybe not always so gracefully.
So our roadmap. We're going to start with that dense, complex move to standardize what they're calling agentic AI.
These are the systems designed to connect and actually act on their own.
Right. Then we'll pivot to how you can navigate all this change. We'll talk about the real professional value of getting quick validation, like with the new Google Gemini Certificate.
And finally, we're going to get into the really clever PR move behind giving AGI a more human face, with Sam Altman's parenting stories as, the key exhibit.
Okay, before we jump in, let's just nail down that piece of jargon.
It's a good idea.
When we say agentic AI, we're just describing models that use protocols to connect with and use other software and data tools.
They're the AIs that do things, not just talk.
Exactly. They execute tasks. So segment 1, the standardization wars.
This is a big one.
It's all centered on this new agentic AI foundation, the AAIF, and it's under the Linux Foundation.
And the members, OpenAI, Anthropic, Block. I mean, that's a surprising trio given how much they compete.
It really is.
To me, this is just them admitting reality. They know they can't scale the business of autonomous AI if everyone's building on, a different shaky foundation.
Fragmentation is a liability now.
A huge one. And they didn't just join. They immediately donated these foundational tools to get it all started.
So what are they contributing? What are these core technical pieces that are going to form the new standard?
Okay, so Anthropic contributed something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP.
Right.
This is so crucial. It's basically the universal language standard. It lets AI models negotiate context and access all these external tools and data sources. It handles the boring stuff, like state management and authentication, in a shared way.
So it's not just a translator, is it? It's more like a shared set of rules for trust and access between different models and other software.
Precisely. It just gets rid of so much developer friction. Then you've got Block, Jack Dorsey's company. They open source something called Goose. And you can think of this as the essential starter pack for any developer building agents. It just cuts out months of basic setup work.
And OpenAI's contribution, agents.md. It's the simplest, but maybe the most strategically clever part of this.
Oh, it's very smart. It's just a plain text file that lives inside your code repository.
Okay.
And its only job is to clearly define how any AI coding tool is allowed to behave inside that specific project. It's a way to manage trust by, sandboxing the model's actions.
The thing is, the significance here goes way beyond just these three companies because the Linux Foundation is driving it.
And they have a history here.
A huge history.
Yeah.
They turn messy, fragmented ideas into core global infrastructure.
Well, think about Kubernetes. It started as this super complex, messy thing for container orchestration.
Right.
The Linux Foundation gave it that neutral home, and now Kubernetes basically runs most of the world's modern cloud, this AAF thing.
Right.
It feels like the Kubernetes moment for agentic AI.
That makes the stakes very clear. But let's push on the competitive side of this for a second.
Okay.
It's great for developers, great for interoperability. But isn't this also a strategic move for these three big players to kind of control the infrastructure?
Well, that's always the risk, right?
And potentially lock out smaller competitors who weren't at the table when the rules were written.
That's the inherent risk of standardizing early. You're right. You build the roads before everyone else has a car. But the immediate driver here really is business growth. We know that the AI coding market just exploded this year.
We saw the figures.
Yeah.
AI coding spend went from what, $550 million to $4 billion in 1 year.
That is just explosive growth.
Yeah, right.
And when you have that much money flying around, Fragmentation, where a tool only works with Claude or only in VS Code or only in the cloud, that becomes a massive barrier. You need standardization because that 4 billion is only going to grow if the tools are reliable and they work across all the different software stacks.
So if we strip away the money and the competition for a moment, what's the one major underlying technical pain point that this whole open source effort is trying to fix?
It fixes the challenge of different AI tools and models needing a reliable shared language to connect securely across any software stack.
That's the core of it. Okay, so from the complex job of standardizing how we build AI,
We pivot.
we pivot to standardizing how we learn about it with this new credential from Google.
I love this story because it's so actionable for anyone listening. Google AI Education just launched the Gemini Educator Certificate.
And the key detail.
The key detail is that it's completely free until December 31st, 2025.
Wow.
After that, it's $25.
That's a really generous window, a low-friction way for people to validate their skills. So what's the actual value proposition here for someone learning?
I think it's got 3 tiers of benefit. First, just the practical utility. You actually gain mastery of the Gemini platform, and that's becoming a really essential tool.
Right.
Second, the profile boost. It's a Google credential that just carries some weight on a resume,
And maybe the most important part, in a really crowded job market, it signals something critical to employers.
Yes. This is it. It signals proactive learning. If you have a pool of candidates who are all equally skilled, the one who took the initiative to learn and validate their knowledge on these new tools, they just gave themselves an edge. It shows curiosity.
I'll admit I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes, finding the best way to talk to these things as they evolve.
We all do.
So I genuinely appreciate these low-stakes ways to learn a new platform without, the pressure of a huge tuition bill.
The only barrier to entry here is time and curiosity. That's a great democratizing move.
So for anyone interested, what are the key logistical things they need to know about taking it?
Okay, watch the clock. You get 120 minutes for the exam, but people who've done well say it can be done in about 30. But the big warning,
The retake policy.
the retake policy. If you fail that first time, you have to wait 8 days before you can try again.
Given that restriction and the professional benefit we're talking about, should people be prioritizing a really high score? Or is it more about just showing you're curious and proactive by getting it done?
Focus on signaling curiosity and showing you're actively engaging with new and evolving AI tools.
We're back. We've covered the technical standardization that requires engineering collaboration. Now we're shifting to this powerful current of AI humanization that requires public relatability.
And this is where Sam Altman, the guy building AGI, makes his debut on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon.
And the topic wasn't, the next LLM benchmark or the future of superintelligence.
No, it was diapers and pizza. He framed ChatGPT as his parenting sidekick for his newborn.
So the man leading one of the highest stakes tech projects in human history is using it for these deeply mundane, stressful parenting moments.
The stories he told were perfect PR. He talked about asking why his baby was laughing while throwing pizza on the floor. I mean, that is just a genuinely human, chaotic moment.
Or the other one, the universal but kind of gross question.
Asking his genius-level AI about the color of baby poop.
Right.
He even admitted he feels kind of bad asking this super advanced system such dumb questions.
And that little admission of vulnerability, that's the whole strategy.
That's the core of it. The punchline is, it works. It's deeply relatable.
It's incredibly effective, especially when you remember, this is a company that has spent years in these serious, sometimes fearful public debates about existential risk and model races with Google.
And now the CEO is talking about nursery stress. This is absolutely a clever, soft PR move. The goal is to shift the public's focus away from that scary theoretical future and bring it right back to immediate, friendly, practical use.
They're working to make ChatGPT feel like a non-intimidating tool again.
And the choice of Fallon's show for distribution is just genius. It completely bypasses the tech press and goes straight to millions of everyday people.
The tech community doesn't need to be convinced.
No, but millions of late-night viewers just met this technology in the lowest stakes way possible. It normalizes it through humor. It suggests, hey, if the CEO uses it to check on his kid, it can't be that scary.
So does this PR shift suggest that public fear, or maybe just intimidation about AI, was a bigger challenge for the company than the actual technological capability.
Yes, it suggests establishing broad public relatability is now a primary goal, maybe even equal to scaling the tech itself.
Okay, let's wrap our deep dive with a rapid-fire segment, some interesting industry insights, tools, and predictions.
Quick hits. Let's start with a really powerful new tool for anyone doing serious research. It's a Chrome extension called the Slop Evader.
The name alone just perfectly captures the need.
It really does. It filters out AI-generated content and only shows you search results that were published before ChatGPT launched.
So it's a dedicated tool for finding pure research before the floodgates of synthetic text opened.
Which says a lot about data integrity now, right? It's fascinating. We need a tool to deliberately look backwards just to trust what we're reading.
Okay, what's next?
On the topic of getting better outputs, an OpenAI co-founder gave some great advice.
A simple instruction. Stop using the phrase, "What do you think?"
Exactly. Just eliminate that request for an AI's opinion, and you will immediately get higher quality, less biased, more objective outputs. That's just actionable advice for anyone using these tools professionally.
And in hardware, a lot of money is flowing toward efficiency. Unconventional AI just raised $475 million.
And that huge funding round is specifically for creating brain-inspired chips. Chips designed to be more energy efficient, more eco-friendly.
Which proves efficiency is now a multi-million-dollar concern, not just a philosophical one.
Right. But here's the prediction that really stopped me. Time's 2025 Person of the Year, the betting favorite.
AI itself, at 40%, ahead of actual people like Jensen Huang and Sam Altman.
Whoa. Just stop for a second. Imagine scaling the very concept of personhood to an algorithm.
That reflects how pervasive this tech has become in our collective imagination. It's a genuine moment of wonder at the speed of this change.
So with all these quick hits, from filtering data to venture deals for the average professional, what's the single most practical insight here?
The actionable strategy to refine your prompts by eliminating vague, opinion-seeking questions. Precise input guarantees better output.
We covered a huge amount of ground today.
We really did. From rival companies agreeing on foundational rules to a CEO talking about his personal life.
And to recap the big idea, the world of AI is simultaneously consolidating its infrastructure, that AAI Alliance proves it, and it's dissolving its intimidating public image through this very calculated PR.
The core takeaway here is that the tools for both building AI and for using AI are becoming so much more accessible.
But that accessibility only helps you if you stay curious and proactive.
Which brings us right back to that free Gemini certificate.
Yeah, if you're curious, go check it out. It's a really low-friction way to show you're engaged before that deadline is up.
And before we sign off, we want to leave you with one final provocative thought from this week's news.
A Google VP of ads recently denied the rumor about integrating ads deep inside their personalized AI models. But the key phrase they used was, "no current plans."
We encourage you to think about what that very deliberate, nuanced phrasing implies about the inevitable future of advertising. What happens when our trusted, personalized study buddy also becomes an incredibly well-informed salesman?
Keep digging into your own source material.
We'll catch you on the next one.